Welcome back. Sources tell CBS News a wave of resignations has hit the Justice Department Civil Rights Division because of a lack of action following the deadly Minneapolis ICE shooting. Scott MacFarlane's been reporting on this and joins us now. I was bugging you early this morning saying, wait, why would the Civil Rights Division be responsible for investigating this shooting? And the answer was,
if there's an accusation of a misuse or excessive force used by law enforcement, the Civil Rights Division of the federal prosecutor's offices lead that. That's a outgrowth of the civil rights era, when there obviously were face-offs between law enforcement and communities. The Civil Rights Division handles these types of things historically. They are not leading an investigation of a potential deprivation of color of law or excessive force by the immigrations officer. So you have departures in the wake of that. Multiple departures inside the Civil Rights Division. They were announced at a meeting that was held for the staff on Monday. You also have at least a half dozen departures in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota, which would be lead on this. It's also not an inconsequential bit of timing because this controversy is only bubbling up.
I was going to say, these are the prosecutors in Minneapolis who have been dealing with the underlying concerns about fraud across the state, right?
Not only are they the one tasked with handling the fraud cases that have already been brought, the ones that have been emphasized by the White House, any future fraud cases that are to be brought. What's more, they're also handling an assassination investigation of House Speaker Melissa Hortman.
That's right, from last summer,
in Minnesota. So they've got some big things on their plate. They have fewer people to handle it now. And that is the microcosm of the bigger issue here, Ed, which is the Department of Justice has been losing people by the hundreds, many of them leaving in protest over what they're seeing, and they still got to get the work done.
And if you're leaving now, almost a year into the Trump administration, it means you weren't part of that first wave that was like, I don't want anything to do with this when he starts. This was the, I'll see how it goes crowd. And less than a year in, they're going, time to go.
I think that's the proper context and framing it, exactly how I would frame it, because you have people who found this to be a bridge too far when there were no bridges in sight over the past year. That should give you an indication of what an inflection point this Minnesota shooting is for the lifelong career prosecutors inside the Department of Justice.
You also have some reporting on House Democrats asking the Trump administration if any January 6th rioters now work for ICE?
Yeah, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee has submitted a formal inquiry to the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice for lists or information on anybody who was pardoned for January 6th now working as an ICE agent. Considering all the background noise about ICE, there's interesting timing to this inquiry. Congressman Jamie Raskin, who's the ranking member of the committee, says with all the masking of ICE agents, we have no idea who's working for whom, and the Department of Homeland Security does not release names of its agents, they say, to prevent doxing. So all of this is a mystery. We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for reaction. A spokeswoman said that they find Congressman Raskin's letter to be reckless and political. They don't deny any January 6 rioters work for ICE, nor will they release identities, they say, to protect the agents themselves.
But what started this for Raskin? Was this like an online thing that people went, well, if these guys were masked on January 6th, why wouldn't they potentially be getting a job that lets them shield their identity?
To be clear, that online chatter is very much prevalent. It's existed for some time now. Congressman Raskin brought up the possibility at a hearing Thursday of the Judiciary Committee. He is following up with a formal inquiry to just get a clear answer, yes or no.
All right, we'll see where it goes. Scott MacFarlane, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.